Have you ever noticed how some of the strongest people you know are the ones who walk alone, not because they're forced to, but because they've chosen to? There's a quiet strength in being alone that most people ignore. While the world chases attention, approval, and someone to make them feel complete, there's a different kind of person. The one who looks in the mirror and says, I'm already complete. Living alone doesn't mean you're lonely. It means you've learned how to be at peace with yourself. It shows that you're not scared of your own thoughts, not running from your past, and not filling your life with people just to escape the silence. Here's a truth many won't say aloud. Some relationships will drain you more than being alone ever could. When you live alone, whether that's mentally, emotionally, or even physically, you take your power back. You move freely without needing anyone's permission. You rise without needing claps or approval. You become a powerful force against anything that tries to distract you or hold you back. If you've ever felt like stepping away from the noise, if you've ever felt stronger on your own than around people who don't see your value, then this message is for you. And before we go deeper, hit that subscribe button and like this video if you're done settling and ready to step into your full power. This is Motivation Paradox, where your peace meets your true purpose. Let's talk about why being on your own might just be the best relationship you'll ever experience. When you live alone, you remove a lot of unnecessary stress from your life. No more fights about where to put the dishes, what movie to watch, or trying to explain your dreams to someone who doesn't get your fire. Living alone is not loneliness, it's freedom. It's waking up and knowing that the only person you need to agree with is the one looking back at you in the mirror. You're in charge of your space, your time, your energy. That means no one is draining your motivation. No quiet anger building up from a relationship that feels forced. Instead, you get peace. You get clarity. And most of all, you get your strength back. You get to choose how your day begins and how it ends. Want to start working at 5:00, clock A, or go for a walk at midnight. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. That kind of freedom trains your mind. It helps you build a rhythm most people never find because they're too busy dealing with someone else's chaos. And here's something people rarely admit. Being alone lets you hear your own voice. In relationships that aren't right, your voice slowly fades. Your needs get ignored. You end up giving so much that you lose sight of who you really are. But when it's just you, you begin to really listen to that inner voice. You sharpen your instincts. You follow your gut. You stop adjusting yourself to someone else's storm and start steering toward your own calm. Many people think being alone means you're lost. But in truth, the most grounded people are often the ones who've walked through life on their own. They've built a space where their soul can breathe, not just survive. Living alone teaches you how to take care of yourself. It takes away the pressure of being everything for someone else. Instead, it gives you the chance to become everything you were meant to be for you. Because true freedom isn't about running away. It's about taking full control. And when you're living alone, you own every part of your life. That's not scary, it's powerful. That's something to respect and protect. Always choose freedom over friction. When you live alone, silence doesn't feel uncomfortable, it becomes powerful. In that quiet, you begin to understand things that were hidden under the noise. The noise of opinions, distractions, fake friendships, and forced happiness. Now the room is still, and for the first time in a while, your thoughts have space to breathe. You start to notice how much energy you used to spend trying to be understood, trying to meet other people's expectations, trying to explain your heart to someone who never really listened. That kind of emotional effort leaves you drained. But in solitude, confusion fades. You stop wondering who you are. You begin to know. No pressure to pretend, no need to fake a smile to avoid conflict, no silent tension in the air, just you and the truth. Being alone removes the background noise. It clears the clutter. And it teaches you a lesson most people never learn. Peace doesn't come from comfort. Peace comes from clarity. And let's be honest. When you're always around others, especially the wrong ones, their voices blur your thinking. You doubt yourself. You delay choices. You forget what your instincts sound like. But in your own company, you reset. You hear your own voice clearly. And this voice doesn't whisper, it leads. It directs you toward growth. It reminds you of your value. And without the burden of other people's opinions, you actually move forward. Many people search for clarity in other people, in relationships, in approval, but they never find it because clarity doesn't live there. It lives in quiet. It lives in time alone. In those early mornings when the sun rises and it's just you and your breath. Living alone gives you a sacred space to reflect and to see life without confusion. And once you see life clearly, you can't go back to living in chaos. That's why being alone isn't moving backward. It's actually the next step most people are too scared to take, because clarity takes courage. But once you choose it, you never accept confusion again. When you live alone, you stop asking for permission to be yourself. You don't have to argue for your peace. You don't need to explain why you enjoy quiet or why you are picking discipline over distraction. You just live free. And that kind of freedom is rare because most people are stuck living by someone else's emotions, moods, and expectation. But when you're alone, you do what's needed. No waiting for agreement. No waiting for a nod of approval. Want to wake up at 4 a.m. o'clock, 8 a.m. and work in silence? Do it. Want to pray at night or meditate with the moonlight? Do it. No one's watching. No one's judging. You're not tied to anyone else's emotional schedule. This kind of freedom unlocks something powerful inside you. It makes you unshakable in the best way. Because once you've lived without needing anyone's approval, no one can control you with it again. You stop shrinking to fit in places that never matched your soul. You stop dimming your light to make others feel okay in the shadows. You start living bright, bold, and fully honest. People don't talk about this enough. Even the relationships that look perfect often come with invisible chains. You start changing your habits, your mindset, even your dreams, just to keep things smooth. You stop doing what lights you up and start doing what pleases them. That's not love. That's a quiet prison dressed up with sweet words. But when you're alone, you learn what it means to choose yourself every day. You move without holding back. You speak with honesty. You heal without outside noise. You heal without interruption. You grow without resistance. And most importantly, you learn to love yourself without conditions. See, the world will try to tell you that something's wrong with being alone, that you need someone to make you whole. But you're not a half waiting to be completed. You're already whole, already enough, already powerful. Living alone teaches you that solitude isn't emptiness. It's full of answers. Answers about who you are, what you need, and what you refuse to tolerate ever again. Because once you've experienced peace, the kind that doesn't come from a person, a place, or a thing, but from within, you won't trade that peace for anything. Not for company, not for comfort, not even for love that costs your soul. Living alone becomes your sacred ground, the place where you rebuild what others broke, where you unlearn the lies the world taught you, and where you finally start becoming the version of yourself you were always meant to be, not the one others expected you to be. You create your rhythm, you guard your energy, you design your environment with purpose. You eat, speak, move, and rest with intention. There is no pressure to entertain, no weight to perform, just presence, just peace, just power. And that's when something shifts. You stop chasing people, you stop over-explaining, you stop shrinking for acceptance. Because now you see the peace you found on your own is far more valuable than the chaos you once called connection. You stop settling for relationships that only offer moments of peace between storms. You stop craving attention and start respecting your own energy, because real love, the kind that's worth your time, won't cost you your sanity. It won't drain you or ask you to break yourself just to be held. No. Real love will recognize the sanctuary you've built inside yourself and protect it, not invade it. So if you're walking this journey alone right now, not because you have to, but because you've finally seen your worth, know this: you are not lost. You are not behind. You are not broken. You're just walking a road that only the brave walk. And though it's quiet, it's powerful. Though it's still, it's healing. And though it's hard, it's sacred. Don't rush back to noise. Don't settle for distractions dressed as love. Don't apologize for choosing you. Because one day, someone might come along who doesn't disturb your peace, but joins you in it. Someone who sees you clearly because you've seen yourself first. But until then, and even then, stay true to the sanctuary you've built. Stay loyal to the life you're creating, and stay grounded in the truth that being alone is not your weakness, it's your weapon. You are not lonely, you are becoming. And that is the most powerful thing you could ever do. Welcome to your era of elevation. This is Motivation Paradox, where peace meets purpose. And if you feel this message in your soul, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the courage to choose themselves again. Because living alone, it's not the end of love. It's the beginning of power. Without interference, and in that quiet, you find rhythm. A divine rhythm. A rhythm where you're no longer racing to keep up with someone else's journey. You're fully focused on your own path. And that changes everything. Living alone teaches you to trust your own timing, to respect the voice inside you, to go with your gut feelings without needing anyone's approval. It reminds you of your strength, your inner wisdom, your own power. And once you get a taste of that kind of freedom, shallow connections don't pull you in anymore. Because true freedom doesn't ask anyone's permission. It walks in confidently, owns the space, and tells the truth, even when no one applauds. There's a reason the tallest trees grow far from the noise. They have deep roots in stillness, and that's exactly what happens when you live alone. You move away from the noise and into the calm, and in that calm you begin to grow. Noise throws you off. It keeps you running after approval, caught in drama, and stuck in draining patterns that hold you back instead of lifting you up. But when you move all that, when you sit alone in a room with just your thoughts, you meet the truth. You meet yourself. That's where real growth begins. Most people avoid silence because they're scared of what it might show them. But when you live alone, there's no one left to blame, no one to hide behind. It's just you, your choices, your habits, your inner struggles. And in that honest space, you either fall apart or rise. If you're intentional, you rise. This type of growth is slow. It's not fancy. It's not something to show off online. It's the quiet strength of becoming solid, of becoming someone who doesn't need attention to feel worthy, someone who doesn't need to prove anything because their actions already speak loudly. You begin to notice what triggers your emotions, not from reading it somewhere, but from watching how you respond in real life. You learn your natural rhythm, when you're most inspired, when you feel weakest, when your body needs rest. You stop performing and start aligning. And eventually, that alignment becomes your base. The best part, nobody can take it from you because it wasn't handed to you. You earned it in silence. You built it by showing up consistently through quiet mornings and lonely nights when no one else was watching. That's real strength. Living alone shows you that growth isn't about adding more, it's about taking away the clutter, the harmful voices, the noise that shrinks you. In removing those, you find room. Room to think, to imagine, to grow. Because growth doesn't happen in noisy rooms full of opinions. It happens in silence, in stillness. In those sacred moments when you finally stop running and start becoming. Living alone resets your standards in powerful ways. When it's just you, you discover how peaceful life can be without needless drama, half-hearted people, or one-sided efforts. You become the full source of your own calm. And once you feel that kind of wholeness, you no longer accept less. You stop replying to people who only contact you when they want something. You stop chasing people who never made space for you. You stop trying to make anyone see your value. Why? Because you've already proven it to yourself. You already showed up for you when no one else did. Living alone helps you see the difference between being lonely and being alone. Loneliness is the absence of connection. But being alone, that's freedom. That's peace. That's being able to hear your own voice without other people's opinions drowning it out. You learn to love your own presence so deeply that anything less than real effort from others feels like an insult to your peace. When your life doesn't rely on others to complete you, you start seeing clearly what adds to your peace and what takes away from it. You notice when people are being inconsistent. You catch when their words and actions don't match. And instead of making excuses for them, you quietly step away, not out of hate, but out of self-respect. You no longer accept maybes, mixed signals, or attention only when it's convenient. You need clarity, you need real presence, you need energy that matches what you bring because you know what it took to become this version of you. You remember the nights you spent building your future, piece by piece. You're not about to let someone show up with laziness or half-hearted love and tear that down. This is the quiet power that comes from living alone. It sharpens your judgment. You start choosing people with intention, people who bring calm, not chaos, people who uplift, not confuse. And if those people never show up, you're still okay. Because you're not waiting to be saved. You already saved yourself. And when you live from that place of strength, the bare minimum isn't even noticeable. Just showing up isn't enough. They have to match the level you reached when nobody was looking. That's your new standard. Living alone makes you face the parts of yourself that relationships often help you hide. There's no one to blame, no one to lean on, no one to pull your focus from your inner struggles. It's just you and that quiet. That quiet becomes your mirror, your truth, your medicine. And for the first time, healing isn't a trend or a buzzword. It becomes your lifestyle. When you're alone, you can't hide behind someone else. The noise of being around people doesn't cover up your wounds anymore. You hear your thoughts, you feel your emotions the moment they show up. You sit with your regrets, your worries, your past, and instead of escaping them, you finally start dealing with them. Healing by yourself is raw. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. You learn how to calm yourself when you're anxious. You figure out what makes you feel sad and what lifts your mood. You become your own emotional support, your own voice of reason. That's real power, because now nobody can mess with your peace. Nobody can use your pain against you. There's something sacred about healing in quietness. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not sharing updates for approval. You're doing The deep work, crying in private, forgiving yourself, letting go of those who left you, and learning who you really are. Not the version others shaped, but the true you. The one hidden under years of pleasing and settling. You start building routines that guard your peace. You write your thoughts in a journal instead of throwing them at others. You meditate. You pray. You listen. You fix the broken places inside you so that when the next person enters your life, they walk into something stable, not chaos. You also stop repeating old patterns. Toxic relationships no longer excite you. Chaos feels unfamiliar. Dysfunction sets off warning bells instead of feeling like home. You don't keep people around just to fill silence. Because now, you're no longer scared of silence. You love it. You protect the version of yourself that made it through without shortcuts. That's when healing becomes powerful in the best way, because your value is no longer a question. You discovered it in the quiet, built it in the calm, and now you defend it with the wisdom you earned. Living alone didn't just heal you, it transformed you. You rewired yourself. Now, peace isn't something you just wish for. It's something you guard fiercely. Living alone becomes the truest form of freedom. There's no need to ask anyone for approval, explain your actions, or adjust your daily routine to match someone else's needs. Every single decision, from when you wake up, what you eat, how you spend your time, is completely yours. That kind of independence is rare and it holds real power. When you're not pulled in different directions by a relationship, you regain control of your life in ways you never expected. Want to take a sudden trip? You're free to go. Want to explore a new hobby or dive into a passion without anyone judging you? Nothing's stopping you. Want to stay up all night chasing your dreams or sleep late because your body needs rest? You don't have to explain it to anyone. This kind of independence creates the perfect space for growth, creativity, and finding out who you really are. But this freedom isn't only about doing whatever you feel like, it's also about the calm that comes from being real with yourself, living without pretending, without masks. In relationships, we often bend or shrink parts of ourselves to avoid fights, to be accepted, or to keep things looking good on the outside. When you live alone, that pressure disappears. You can just be yourself, completely flaws, quirks, and all, with no need to say sorry for it. This kind of freedom helps you trust yourself more. You become the leader of your own life. You rely on your own thoughts, your gut feelings, your own direction. That builds a kind of confidence that no one can give you. It's something you develop slowly in your alone time. When you live alone, you discover that you are complete by yourself. You don't need praise from others or their approval to feel valuable. Still, this freedom comes with responsibility. It pushes you to fully take charge of your life, your wins, your mistakes, your joy, and your pain. There's no one there to always catch you if you fall. That reality can feel scary, but it also makes you stronger and more responsible. You start to see that your life reflects the small choices you make every day. The truth is, having this kind of freedom is one of the biggest blessings that living alone gives you. It's not about being lonely or cut off. It's about strength. The strength to live by your own rules. The strength to define what joy means to you. The strength to wake up every day knowing that your life is truly in your hands. That's a kind of power no relationship can replace. And once you feel it, you won't want to go back to anything less. Living alone starts a journey that helps you learn how to enjoy being with yourself. That might sound easy, but in today's world where everyone's always connected and talking, truly enjoying your own company is a rare and powerful skill. When you're on your own, you have to face your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams, and through that, you build a closer connection with the most important person in your life, Enjoying your own presence means you don't rely on others to fill the silence or make you feel good enough. It means you can sit quietly by yourself and feel at peace, not bored or uneasy. That kind of peace is a type of strength. It shows that you don't need noise, attention, or praise from others to feel whole. You become emotionally strong on your own, and that strength spreads into all areas of your life. When you're alone, you start hearing your real inner voice, the one that isn't buried under the weight of other people's opinions or what society expects from you. This connection with yourself makes your instincts sharper and your decisions clearer. You stop living to make others happy and start living in ways that bring you real joy. That kind of understanding becomes the base for lasting happiness, purpose, and inner peace. Also, learning to enjoy your own company builds self-love and self-respect. You begin to treat yourself better, with more kindness, more patience, and more care, because you now realize you're your own best friend. This relationship with yourself teaches you to let go of guilt, to cheer yourself on when you win, and to keep growing even if no one else is clapping for you. That's a kind of freedom no partner can promise. Living alone also removes the distractions that often come with having someone else around. It gives you the quiet and space you need to think, to create, and to chase your goals without having to compromise. This alone time becomes a powerful creative energy that lets you chase your interests, sharpen your skills, and build a life that fits who you are deep down. In the end, learning to love your own company is not just about surviving being alone, it's about growing in it. It's about discovering that you already have everything you need inside you. And when you come to that realization, it becomes a deep well of confidence, peace, and freedom that no relationship can replace. When you truly enjoy your own company, you unlock a new kind of strength and self-awareness that changes every part of your life. If you've ever felt stuck between the noise of the world and the quiet of your own mind, remember this: becoming good at living alone isn't about being lonely. It's about gaining strength. It's about owning your space, your time, and your value. So if this message connected with you, don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe to Motivation Paradox now. Tap that like button if you're ready to take charge of your life on your own terms. And leave a comment below. Tell me what you've discovered about yourself during your quiet moments. Your story might help someone else find power in being alone. Let's grow